Um, Today's kind of a bit of an impromptu webinar. As most of you know, really over the last 6 months, LinkedIn has been making some big-time changes. And the thing that can be confusing is they have been rolling out a lot of these changes to various users. So changes on my profile may look, may not appear on yours, et cetera, et cetera. So I think my point is I believe effective 10/1, those changes went across the board, and effective 10/15, another rollout was made to everybody. So I wanted to have kind of a quick webinar today and just really take you through some of the changes. There's quite a few new things you can do, some new features, and I thought it would be important for you guys to understand what changes have been made and then try to utilize the changes to obviously improve your LinkedIn presence and your profile. So, I think all of you guys have kind of digested and heard my philosophy on LinkedIn. Really, there's 3 things we're doing. One, we're creating a profile that acts as a virtual resume. So, we have the profile, and in my opinion, setting it up and having all the little things set up is the difference between getting results and not getting results. So next week I'm going to be doing a webinar just on setup, and especially with some of these new features, it may be worth a lot of your guys' time to come because I'll really put time into going through some of these things. But phase 1 has always been you need to set it up because obviously when people are finding the profile has to be designed to convert that person into a potential phone call. So setup is the most important thing. Second thing you need to be doing is connecting with people. When you connect with people, they become your distribution. And as we all know, LinkedIn is a database. And when you're connecting with people, these people then go into your database. And assuming that you're going in and organizing them and putting them in subfolders, then you can then do the third thing, which is sending out mass messages to your connections. So my point is A, you have to have a profile set up so that when you have to have a profile set up strategically and professionally, so when you're marketing the profile and people actually view it, it's designed to convert that traffic. You need to get connections so you have people to talk to, and then obviously you want to utilize the messaging tools, but you can't do that if you don't have connections. So anyway, I've rambled on enough. Let me kind of go through a few of the changes to the profile aspect, and then I'll go through a few of the changes to the database aspect. So we're looking at my profile here, and as we scroll down to the background area, you'll notice that I now have put 2 YouTube videos under my summary, okay? And one of the things that LinkedIn now allows us to do is they allow us to upload quite a few things. For me, I uploaded some YouTube videos. That's what made sense for me, and that's what helps me. But for you guys, you may be able to upload other things that are more important to converting your traffic. So if I go to Profile, Edit Profile, you're going to see now under, well, if I click on the Summary button, actually, I'm sorry. If you click to the right of the Edit button next to Summary, there's a new tab that says Click to add a video, image, document, or presentation. So you can either add a link to your website, maybe a specific landing page or something that you want to promote, or you can upload a file. I've seen a lot of insurance agents upload PowerPoint presentations. Obviously, I uploaded a YouTube video. But my point, guys, is it makes a lot of sense to put a little time into this area right here, into the summary section. One of the things that I've always been very, very upfront about is that your summary section needs to be the best thing on the profile. One, it needs to tell people who you help, right? It needs to identify that. 2, it needs to identify how you help those people. And then 3, it needs to identify how that person can get your help. What's the next step if they're interested? And I find a lot of agents out there, for whatever reason, in this area here, it's the same old garbage. I run an independent agency. I sell auto, home, life, and business. Call me today for a free quote. That doesn't accomplish what I just said. One, we need to identify immediately who our target market is. I work with restaurant owners. I work with business owners. 2, how do I help those people? And 3, if you want my help, here's how you get it. That's how you're going to set up a proper summary. But I think my point is now, whether you're focused on healthcare reform, whether you're focused on risk management in the commercial industry, you can put some pretty powerful presentations here or landing pages or whatever to hopefully convert more traffic. So I think that's a good feature that LinkedIn added. As I scroll down a little bit, and let me, I'm having some problems with GoToMeeting. Let me erase this. Okay. As I scroll down a little bit, you'll notice in my past jobs, I now have some pictures of actually working at these places. I call this the Facebook effect. LinkedIn is trying to become a little bit more, let's call it, a little bit more friendly, a little bit more, creative, where you can now add types of things like this. Again, a new button here to the right called Click Video. Click to add a video, image, document, or presentation. I chose to add a few images from my past jobs. People can obviously click on it, view the image. Again, very much like Facebook. For me, again, I look at LinkedIn as my resume. If potential clients have chatted with me, if they've kind of talked about what I can do to help them, they're going to find my profile. And the more I can put on this profile to convince them that I'm real, that I've been successful, that I know I can help them, I feel that's a plus. So my point is I took the time to put some images here. It depends on what your past experience was, but, think creatively. Maybe you can add a few things to add more credibility to what you accomplished in the past. That's all I'm saying. The next section that is new is called publications. I've gone on and actually put a few of my blogs that I've written on here that are linked to where they were published. You guys can certainly add things that are on your website. If you have a blog, add links to that. But again, I look at it as we're trying to project ourselves to be experts. So if you have some really good information that you can project out to people, put it on your profile. Again, and that's what I've done. So, if someone, again, is taking a look at how I've helped them or helped people in the past, hopefully they're coming in here and they're clicking on how to use Facebook to generate insurance leads, which takes them to, a pretty professional blog that I had published nationally. And again, it brings more credibility to me and what I offer. And you guys should be thinking the same way. How can I incorporate some of these new features to make myself look more professional and more credible? So I guess without rambling on too much, I think step one after today's webinar is just to take a look at your profile and ask yourself, can I improve it a little bit? And can I add a few things to it that are going to take my profile to the next level? Make no mistake, guys, LinkedIn's not going anywhere. It's becoming more and more powerful. We now have 118 million U.S. users using it. And I'm pretty sure of that 118 million, most of them are people with money, people that are successful, people that are in the business world, the exact kind of people you want to insure. So just keep that in mind. I think my point is I think your LinkedIn profile maybe deserve a little bit of your time to just fix it up a little bit. Secondly, if you go into Network and click on Contacts, LinkedIn completely redesigned really the database aspect of it. So before, and I'm sure some of you guys don't remember, but before there was different kind of sorting tools, and it was a little different on the way you could look at your connections. So what you'll see right here are all my connections. And what LinkedIn does now is they will list people from, at least from a default perspective, it will list from the most recent conversation to the last person you kind of talked to. And up here at the top, you will see some new sorting tools, and I'm kind of trying to highlight them right here. So what you can do with these sorting tools is obviously you can click on them. You can change and go to alphabetical, and it'll put all your connections in alphabetical order. And I have about 3,000 connections, so sometimes it takes about 45 seconds to do that. So maybe that was a bad thing to do. But my point is you can sort it differently. But what you can also do is you can really filter the contacts a lot better by company, by their location, by their title. And it kind of changed the tags around a little bit. As most of you guys know, we want to go through each one of our connections and tag them and put them in subfolders so that we can then mass market to that specific folder. So the way you now have to tag the people is under each person, if you kind of highlight them, you'll see a tag button. If you click on that, all your folders come up, and you'll see I have 1 million folders, so this isn't the most friendly. But at the bottom of that list is a button that says Add New Tag. So that's how you would add a new tag folder and manage tags. So if you ever had to change a folder, that's where those buttons are. Guys, let me kind of just state that I spent about 6 hours over the last 2 days really going through some of these changes. Some of these changes aren't great, to be honest, and especially in this area. I find this a little bit harder to utilize. It's a little bit more encompassing, especially to someone like myself who has 3,000 connections and about 55 folders. It's not as easy to use as it was before. Will LinkedIn change it? It's possible. Again, these changes came out in the last 2 weeks. So my point is that, you know, some of these changes are for the better. Some of these changes I question. But at the end of the day, the one thing I've always tried to tell myself is it's irrelevant if it's better or if it's worse. I have to find a way to utilize it. You know, this is a free service, and it is what it is. And I find that a lot of people that I know, especially in the industry, they say, look, I don't like the changes, I'm not going to use it anymore, or I don't want to take the time to learn how things are now set up. That's a big mistake. It's a big mistake. I have told many of you guys I personally don't like social media, never really have. But on the flip side, there's just too many people using this stuff to ignore it. So I force myself to educate myself to learn, even if I like it or not, because I know in the end it helps me accomplish my goals, which is to make more money for my company. So I think the same mindset has to be used by everyone on today's call. So what I suggest is take your time, go in and try to tune up your profile a little bit. You know, add a few pages to your website, add a few presentations on there if you have them, think about it, and then go into the network area and just start to play around with this a little bit. Because like I said, it is different. It is a little bit more confusing. But the key is you can still click on this little message box, and you can still click the Compose Message button. And then, you know, obviously when you click the In button, you can go through and obviously select your subfolders and send messages out to the same people you could before. So that hasn't changed, and obviously that's pretty vital and pretty important to mass marketing with LinkedIn. So guys, I recorded this. I'm going to put it on YouTube. It'll probably be live in about 45 minutes. Feel free to rewatch it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, and we'll go from there. Thanks again, and I look forward to everyone coming on next week. Next week, I'm going to really go through and try to train you on how to upload some of the stuff that I talked about today, and I'll try to give you some strategy and some advice on maybe how to incorporate your website into it and stuff like that.